Hi, this is Dan Henk, and welcome to another edition of the Skull Sessions. And today, my guest is Rob Rodriguez. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right, man. So let's talk about what you got going on.
All right. Well, let me one second. Let me just put this book right here on my end. All right. So I've got a horror fantasy comic that's actually in Kickstarter right now, live. It's a very bleak, edgy, sort of dark story. It's
This is
I
the best kind.
I think it fits your themes well.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so the Kickstarter's live now. We've got about two more weeks and some change to go. We still haven't met the goal, but we're getting pretty close there, just a little more. Still got to push it.
Okay, what's the premise behind the story?
So the idea is basically it's a world that is basically forgotten by God, right?
Hmm.
So when God, turns away from humanity and all of his creations, you get sort of like demons and angels coming into the world, into the earth. And they're coming in a sort of spiritual way, so they need to like find a host, a human host, so they can like reach their full potential. So
So
basically,
they're kind of like a corporeal being, and then once
yeah,
they get a body, then they can
yeah,
kind of
yeah, exactly.
fully emerge. Yeah, okay.
They're fully emerged. They can fully access their true potential, because none of this was supposed to happen, biblically or whatever.
Right.
But so they're all figuring it out. It's all very new to them as well. It's new to the demon.
So they're kind of
And
thrown in a situation they don't understand. And they're like they're trying to struggling to adapt.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So then you getting a little deeper into it. The story is called Faint because Faint is supposed to be the place, like the realm where these beings existed before.
Okay.
We call it, like heaven, hell, purgatory. All of that is Faint.
Okay.
So in this realm, in this place, these angels and demons, they didn't have free will. They existed for their whatever purpose the God had in store for them. So when they come to Earth,
But
they're
now they have free will.
now they have free will. They don't know how to act. Most of them are like, "Holy shit, this is awesome!" Or "Holy shit, I want to do this. I want to go kill a bunch of people for no reason because it feels fun." The adrenaline, the thrill,
Right.
or
Right.
whatever it is, right? They have no moral compass. So in the story, the angels have this sort of privileged view of themselves, where they think they're like, royalty.
The shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They're like, I'm God's favorite.
Yeah.
I'm just here, and so
Even
they.
though he's not here anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Even though he forgot about them too. They don't want to accept
Right.
that. So they sort of have it in their minds that God put them on earth to delete the human race because
Right.
they're privileged. And so the demons in this case,
Wait. So the angels
yeah,
actually think that they should exterminate the entire human race
because
because
they're
they're
God's
like, I
favorite.
guess they're better.
Yeah, yeah, they're God's favorite. So they're like, God wouldn't forget about us. He'll
So
kill his
really,
people.
the bad guys.
Yeah, exactly. So then the
I
demons, the one that's
like that twist already.
thank you. But the demons think that if they help humanity in any way, they're gonna be sort of rebelling against God. So they
Okay.
to do. So it's like a little switch. The angels are really the bad guys here. I would say everybody's the bad guy, but
Well, it depends on how deep down the rabbit hole you go.
right.
So, what are you doing as far as an illustration? Do you have like a one guy that you hired as an illustrator? Are you illustrating yourself? What's the plan?
So we're a team of four in total.
Okay.
We have one artist, and it's me, my brother, and my friend. We write the story together. The concept was actually made up by my friend years ago when we were like younger. So when I
Okay.
started making comics, I remember I hit him up and I was like, "Hey man, like, can you tell me about the story that we spoke about like 10 years ago?" He told me the premise, so I sort of built the world around it. The
Okay,
characters
awesome.
and everything, and started writing the issues from there.
Okay, so you're the primary writer,
Yeah,
is
I'm
that
the
correct?
writer.
Okay, who's the artist?
The artist is a guy named Alberto Verdeja. He's in Chile. Uh
Okay.
yeah, he's an amazing artist, man. We really love what he's done. I think he has a great sense of horror. And we're still experimenting like with the next issues that come out. And man, they look insane.
Okay, awesome. Um, what would you compare his art style to? Like is he more like kind of like John Byrne, Steve Bissett, like
it's difficult because what we wanted to do with Faint, well, my friend, the one who made up the premise basically, he still refers to it as a manga. So
Okay.
he wanted to make a manga, but I told him, listen, we can make a manga styled comic and sort of make it be the bridge between the two, right? It'll
But
be like
it's kind of
kind of
that like Japanese art style.
a little bit, yeah, but it's not like traditional comics either. But it's not
Okay.
full Japanese manga style either. So it's like a fun little in between right there in the middle.
Okay.
We're actually even we're printing the books on manga size as well to sort of go with
I
that,
do it. Don't they do it like they do it backwards and like you're supposed to
Yeah,
read?
yeah, we're not doing all that. That's why, but he wanted to. I'm like, nah, man, we
I don't
can't.
think the American audience is smart enough for that. They'll be
We're
like,
not
oh,
we're not in
it's
Japan.
backwards. It's like,
Like none of it makes sense.
yeah, yeah. Well, you will never go broke underestimating the intelligence of the population. So.
I agree. That's what I said. I'm like, nope, let's just have it regular. Let's just have it be a manga, comic, manga styled comic. And
Okay.
that's it. So we did actually print it also 5 by 8, which is like a
Okay.
tiny little version. I think it looks really cool. And it'll be easier for you to fit anywhere. You want to take it somewhere.
That's a reduced for that's a reduced size.
Yeah.
Is that like you're offering it in paperback that size? Like if
Yeah.
you would
Yeah. Yeah.
like
So
I interviewed with DC Comics back in the day, and I remember like all the comic companies have a very specific size, but I think it's slightly bigger than that size.
they do there is 6 by 9. I have another
Yeah.
comic, superhero comic. That one is the traditional size. But for some reason, just we actually printed both. We printed the 6 by 9 and the 5 by 8. And the smaller one just looks better. It
Okay.
gives a different feel. I don't know. I actually have it right here. I have a copy right here that you can see.
Okay, awesome. Are the interiors in black and white or are they in color?
Good question, actually. We have two versions of the issue, and one is in black and white.
Okay.
So this one is actually we get pretty selective about which colors bleed through.
Right,
So it's
right.
black and white, but you can see the blood pure red.
Yeah, no, I've read plenty of independent comics and they're black and white, but it's like you can totally
Certain
see what's
colors.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But here you see, I'm not sure if you can even see anything, but
Yeah. Well, you can send me images and I'll put them up on screen so people can see them in like full resolution.
yeah, I'll send you a few. But then we also have the regular colored version.
Okay.
Even this style is it's the color grading. It's like atmospheric, is eerie, is darkish. It's not very colorful in the traditional way, I guess.
Like a more limited palette. Yeah. That's
Yeah, yeah,
cool.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a little different too. It's the way that we want to let people know the kind of mood and feel that the comic is going for.
Okay, do you have story arcs planned out? Or is it kind of like an ongoing thing and it's like when it ends, it ends?
No, we do. We have we're not too sure about the amount of issues that we want to have. It's
Mm-hmm.
a story though. But it's probably gonna be more than 20 or around that area. We have about 6 issues written out, and our artist right now is working on issue 3. So issue
Okay.
issue 2 is already ready. And issue 1, we already have the copies. We already
How
have it.
many pages are each issue?
This issue is 28 pages.
Okay.
All of the issues will follow the same, a similar structure. So it's gonna be 25 to 30 pages
Yeah, I
each.
remember DC back in the day wanted 24 pages of art. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, we
they'd
do.
also stuff ads in there like sea monkeys and stuff like that.
Exactly. But now I think 25 pages is good enough to tell you a full story.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
I also have some posters here if you like to see. These are 8 by 11. Not huge, but not small either.
Okay.
But that's one of the characters as well. This is the black and white cover, just with color.
And I know you're currently running a Kickstarter campaign. Do you have
Yes.
perks that people like when they donate a certain amount, they reach a new tier and they get a new perk?
Yeah, so it's basically when you go on the website, you'll see like the first page will be the campaign, tells you the whole story. And
Okay.
then you go over to the rewards, and it'll be tiers of rewards. So I believe I start at like $4 for like the digital version.
Okay.
Then it's like $7 for digital and all the posters and all the stickers digitally. And then I believe $10 for basically everything about the comic and my two other superhero comics. And then from there we'll start on the physical tiers, which start by 10 too. $10 for
Okay.
one copy. I believe five for shipping, so 15 in total. And
Is that like if you were to buy it at a shop, would it be $10?
we're still talking about that. Just because one, the size is small, and we do have to
Right.
speak with with stores to see how we should price it. But it could be a little less than that. Yeah.
There are a lot of indie shops now. My friend Brian Keene, he's like done a lot of Hollywood stuff. He writes some. He writes horrors. He's always at the Killer Con, where they present the Splatterpunk Award. So he's kind of a name in the industry. He has a comic shop, and
Oh
he
wow.
says like maybe 3 to 4% of his sales are Marvel and DC. Everything else is indie comics.
Wow, I love to see that, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I talked to a number of other comic shop owners, and they tell me more or less the same thing. So, my guess would be like, you probably have to like, jump through some hoops, whatever, but you can definitely get your stuff in. Like, it's a lot easier. Like, back in the old days, when it's like you had to be super mainstream, and
Yep.
maybe
Got
they
to
had
have
like a
your
little
audience.
small
You have
section
to.
for like Dark Horse or like
Okay.
Caliber or something that they kind of considered off. Even though Caliber brought us like the Crow, and they
Yeah,
know feedback those days.
I know, but I'm we're still very new, so we just got the copies for this issue. But we're definitely gonna look into having it in stores. If you want to send me the name for that indie shop, be glad we are in the same.
They're all over. I don't know Brian Keane. I mean, he told me, but I already forgot. But I'm sure I can find it again real fast. But
Yeah.
you're in New York, right?
Yep. Queens.
So yeah. There's like a. Have you been to St. Mark's Place? And like they have a little comic shop there.
I've
And
been to a few, yeah, comic shops around, and I'm always searching up. I think our focus is gonna be that after the campaign finishes. Our
right.
focus is gonna be let's try and get it into a few stores, and maybe we could do a few book signing deals or something like that.
Yeah, I just figured that would be kind of cool, and like you could probably also like there's some like after this podcast is over, I'll send you info on it. But there's like another like I put out illustrated books, and so
Yeah.
I went on like there's a podcast just dedicated to comic fans.
Nice.
And I went on there and I was showing all my illustrations and talking about my books and stuff. And they have pretty high viewership and they were really nice. And they're right in Brooklyn. Like at the time I lived in PA, so I drove there. If you're in Queens, I'm sure it's like even
Right
less of a
there.
trek.
Yeah, it's right there, literally. Probably like 20 minutes from me.
Yeah.
Definitely let me know, man. That sounds awesome. I've been trying to get like speak more about this. And I've also been trying to get into podcasts like this with my friend and my brother, so we can all sort of talk about it. But we all got lives. It's kind of hard to take a moment and pin it down.
Yeah, well, advertising can be annoying, but advertising is the only way you get out there. I mean, how do people even see your stuff?
Absolutely.
And like I remember when I went to art school and like my art teacher was like, who do you like? I was like, I'm a big fan of Frazetta. And he goes, well, for every Frazetta, there were 10 people that were better than him. They just never made it.
And why didn't they? Because they had no marketing.
Yeah, Frazetta only made it because like he had a friend who's behind who like got him in, and so pure luck basically.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, you make your own luck if you just keep at it, but yeah.
But some
So
people end up getting lucky early
yeah,
on.
yeah. Well, yeah, there are some people that like are fed the silver spoon, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Actually, it seems like
yeah.
the people that are like fed that they actually don't go as far because
Yeah,
they don't know what it's like to work for a living.
exactly. And they don't appreciate it as much when they get there either,
Right.
It's another thing.
Like I'm a tattoo artist, and it was 10 years of like working shit jobs, and then I became a tattoo artist. I was like, oh, it's great to do art for a living. It's like yeah, you kind of gotta like go through like all
Yeah.
that like through the
Trials and
swamp to
tribulations.
like find something cool.
Yeah. I was checking out some of your art too, man. Maybe one of these days I'll book something. I am due for some ink.
Okay, well, you're welcome to stop by the shop whenever. Um, let's get back to you real quick though. So if people want to check out your book, aside from the Kickstarter, do you also have like a website they can go to?
So we don't have a website yet. We are working on it. Yeah,
You
I know, very
you can
early.
make one for free. I think I'm like WordPress. Like if you go on
Yeah.
WordPress, you can just
I was
download the platform and make it.
I was checking out Squarespace. They have some pretty good stuff to make a website. I don't think it's free though, but we're working on it. It's just it like we were talking about all this marketing stuff is
Right.
extremely, it's a lot. I got two kids, I got a full-time job. So it's
What's your full-time job?
so I'm an admin for a residential high rise in Long Island City.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a lot of clickety clacking and emails and shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
there's kind of like you know what DeviantArt is, like the website DeviantArt.
DeviantArt, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they have kind of a European version called ArtStation, and it's actually like people go in there more often. Like I've had people get a hold of me to do designs for like video games, stuff like that. It's like
Wow.
very interactive, but they also, if you sign up, and it's no money, it's free. If you sign up, they also give you a website.
Like your own little
Yeah,
space.
yeah, exactly. And I haven't explored it too much because I have my personal website, but
Right.
like I don't know what all the features are, but I know they give you one.
Okay. I mean, I'll check that out. I think I've seen it. I was trying to look for an artist for a cover on Facebook, and Jesus Christ, man, I got like 300 messages and people and a bunch of
Ah,
AI art, and it was terrible. But a lot of it, I did see a lot of people posting their artist. What is it? Art station
Art
link.
station. There's some really because it's all of Europe, like it's
Yeah.
huge in Europe. So there's some really good people in there that I followed. Um, that don't use AI. In fact, like when you put up your artwork, you can tag it no AI.
Right. Right.
And and I've done
It's
like
getting creepy out here.
yeah, yeah. Like, and there are people that I'm sure you know, and I know, but there are people that like they'll do something and they'll make it with AI, and then everybody just shits on them. They're like, "Dude, help!" And I'm like, "All right,
Yep, yep. I've seen it. It's a very tricky subject because I like it's hard to say, but there can be uses for AI. I think there could be some great uses for it. But then when people are when they're trying to get hired for projects like these, make a comic cover, and it's all AI.
But I think AI is kind of cool as like inspiration. Like
Exactly, it could be like for
like
comic
I want
art.
this, and because and you go, oh, I hadn't thought
That's
about it
what I'm
like
saying.
that. That looks cool. But then you do your own thing based off of that.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I mean. I think if you use it like for concept art, maybe for
Yeah.
reference photos or something like that, then it could be fine. But then I don't know about it being the final product, right?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like if you do like a sci-fi series and like you watch a lot of Star Wars, and so you kind of watch Star Wars, watch Star Trek, watch Battlestar Galactica. You're like, okay, I'm gonna like take those as like kind of
Yep,
ideas and mix up my own thing. People totally respect that. If you
yep.
do an exact clone of Star Wars, people are like, what the fuck?
Exactly. That's why it's a very tricky subject. But I think people should be upfront too. If they use AI, they need to say it. Um,
Yeah,
and none of the people that I found on my inbox said it.
right,
I would
right.
just say, "This is AI, man. Thank you. Have a great day." And they
Well,
wouldn't
I,
even,
I know that you have a lot of illustrators that are really talented
yeah,
that are actually they
real.
charge below the pay rate of like DC or Marvel or something. Because like I remember when I moved to the city and interviewed with them, and I was like, the pay rate's not that great, especially to live in New York. But actually, that pay rate is way higher than if you're an artist from like Chile or Argentina or whatever,
Yep,
because the cost of living down there is way less. So
exactly.
like I remember they were only paying like 150 a page back in like 98 when they moved DC. And
Yeah,
however now they pay even less.
yep, exactly. I think that's why it's big because it's getting bigger in other countries.
Yeah.
For example, like my artist, his full-time job is drawing and is
Okay.
making art.
Oh, that's
So
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So he definitely has the time and the determination. Two, this is an ongoing series. This is good. I would hope it's good money for him, and a good contract because it's
Right, it's
ongoing.
a steady income. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's steady. It's there. We're not the kind of people that we rush. We don't like to rush. Um,
Mhm.
especially if you're an artist, when you're rushed, it's just not a good work relationship. You know what I mean? When you
Right,
have
right.
someone badgering you every day.
And
Once
you
it's
don't do your best work.
exactly. So we never rush. If it's been a while, maybe we'll say, hey, how's it going? How's everything? Like, um,
Speaking of which, how often were you planning to have issues come out?
so we have actually been working on this one for a while now. We wanted to wait until we were a little more advanced so that we can have the plan is 3 issues a year.
Okay.
The plan.
The
Let's
plan.
let's see let's see how well that goes. So we already have
What?
issue 2 ready. This will drop, we're thinking maybe by Halloween, take advantage of the horror theme.
Okay.
And then issue 3 is almost done as well. So by the time we get there, we'll have the fourth. By the time we get there, we'll have the fifth, and so on and so
Are
forth.
you gonna run another crowdfunding campaign right around Halloween?
I think so, yeah. We're using Kickstarter for now because, like we said, I have no website
Right.
yet. So it's
Well, I've
it's
seen a lot of indie comic creators use Kickstarter,
yeah,
and
I think
like
it's a
I
good way
use
to get the word out.
Indiegogo and Kickstarter, and I found I had a way better response on Kickstarter.
Yeah, I haven't used Indiegogo or any of the other ones. But I think my last campaign for my superhero comic was it did well. It was successful. So I guess since then we've been using it. It's also more of a way to sort of announce the launch, you know. I think we'll be doing this.
Well, you can also like support other campaigns, and they
That's
support
true.
you, so everybody kind of gets to look at whatever.
Yeah,
Like
not everyone, sadly, but yeah.
no, not everyone, but I mean, like for instance, what I did is I was like looking at like other people who had like kind of like dark themed,
Yeah,
work.
similar stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I think I backed like 70 projects on Kickstarter. So I've been on there, pretty extensively, and I'm now collecting indie comics. So that's
Okay.
um yeah, some people do, some people, will be courteous and say, you backed my campaign, like let me return the favor, but some people don't.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah. You
Yeah,
never know. You never know with the
never
general
know.
public.
You can even be cool with them and they still
Yeah, no.
we're
Well,
shocked because I'm like,
also, you
damn, I
don't know
would.
because maybe they're cool with you, but maybe they talk shit behind your back. I mean, there are
Exactly,
way too many
exactly.
people to do that shit. Like,
Maybe like,
I
yo,
would
keep
just rather
calm.
you say you hate me than than like be friendly to me and then talk shit. But that's
Exactly.
another topic entirely.
That's just how people are, I guess.
All right, man. So let's throw out how people can see you. So if you don't have a website, would be your Facebook. Would that be the best way to see what's going on?
Yep, I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. On Instagram, my handle is White Owl Comic. That's my other comic. On
Okay.
Facebook, our page is called Horror. Let's see. Faint Horror Fantasy Comic. We've got this picture,
Okay.
the purple hair guy, purple fire hair guy.
Yeah, I'll put it up, but I mean, some of the people who get this podcast, they don't listen, they don't see it.
Yeah. No, it's just that's the only place I'm at right now. Just the social medias. I haven't been using Twitter much because it's terrible now. And I have
It's
like
not Twitter anymore, it's X.
whatever it is now, man. But why, whatever. I have like 1,300 followers, man, and every time I post something, I get like 10 views. I'm like, all right, that's ridiculous, man.
Maybe you gotta pay for the next tier. Like now they have paid tiers.
Probably what
Like,
it is,
what the
man.
fuck is everybody wants my money?
That's the way it is. That's the way the world runs, I guess.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Everybody
But
wants their money. Nobody wants to give us money.
well, unless you hit the jackpot, there's like certain people that they just luck out with everything.
Yeah. Uh, wish I was them, I guess.
All right, man. So the last thing I'll ask, I don't keep you here all day, but last thing I'll ask is like, so I always ask people to compare their work to something, not to say it's a ripoff, but to say, hey,
Right.
if you like this, you'll like my stuff.
Like some similar style stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess I would compare more to stuff like some anime.
Okay.
If you've seen Death Note.
Yeah.
Um, I would, similar.
Ghost in the Shell, Akira.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know if you've seen this one. It's a little less big. Dead Man Wonderland.
No.
Or that one. It's amazing, but
I'm not a huge animation guy, but like
yeah,
when I
yeah,
hear
yeah.
something, like I heard you gotta see Ghost in the Shell, you gotta see Akira.
Have you
You,
seen
like, I
Attack
mean,
on
those
Titan?
OGs, but
Seen Attack on Titan?
the what?
Attack on Titan.
No,
Oh my God, that was amazing too. But yeah,
I gotta watch that. All right.
yeah, you definitely should.
Yeah,
Um,
my girlfriend always warns me because like
me
apparently
too.
there's this big thing with Japanese octopus porn. I mean, she's Korean, but she watches a lot of that stuff. She's like, "Don't watch this." Like some of
Check it
that stuff is
out.
just like,
So tell me which one.
yeah, yeah.
But that one's great. I think we take a lot of like ideas from it. I also take ideas from like shows that I've watched before. Like I used to be a big Walking Dead fan.
So, well,
So
until they do the same thing over and over and
right,
over.
exactly. And now they have like 17 of the different shows for each character or
Yeah, I don't
something.
watch them.
That's another thing. Anyway,
I watch Fallout. Have you seen Fallout?
I have not finished it yet, but I did
Yeah,
start it.
it's amazing. I love
Yeah,
it.
I need
Yeah.
to finish it out. I think I just started the first episode. Um, but I would say along the lines of that, maybe some let me see, some more horror theme stuff. I don't know. I can't think of anything live action right now.
Okay. Well, I think we like the best way to see you is like on Facebook, and then we'll put the link to your Kickstarter. But why don't you mention it real quick for the people that are just listening?
Yes, sir. So I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook. On Instagram, you can find me as White Owl Comic, and on Facebook, you can find my page as Faint Horror Fantasy Comic. Uh,
Okay.
and those are the main places that I'm at right now. You can email me, ask me any questions, ask me about the Kickstarter, click on the Kickstarter, check it out.
What's the Kickstarter campaign under? Like, what's the name?
It should be Faint as well, just Faint, issue one or something like that.
Okay.
And over there, you get the full breakdown of the story. I'll show you the
Kind of
character.
a little glimpse on what's going on.
Yeah, yeah, you get a few pages preview there. You get who the characters are that you're gonna meet, the premise. Actually, I showed it to a few people and they kept telling me, "Yo, you have too many things in here, too many paragraphs. Don't read all that." And I'm like,
Well,
well, don't.
everyone has a different like perspective and approach.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
like if you are interested, I'm sure someone will read it, like I
Yeah.
will, I do.
Everyone has different tastes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I did sort of structure it in a way that it's all the way down, all the blah blah blah. It's like,
Right.
So if you don't want to read it and you just want to see the pages, see the rewards, they're all first thing you see. Yeah, you click on the rewards, you can get a digital copy for like $4
Okay.
and a physical 10. And there's bundles too. There's actually a limited bundle for both of these together for like $16.
Okay.
There's only three of those available. But there's a bunch of things there. Just check it out.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, man. Do you have anything else you want to throw out there to the social media sphere?
Uh, nope, not really. We're just right now working on Faint. We're gonna be dropping the second issue later on this year too.
Okay.
Working on a superhero comic, a little out of your theme here, a little lighter and brighter. It's still a dark story though, but
Not like a Katy Perry or Britney Spears later. Yeah.
we're bringing Taylor Swift here. No, 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 it's not. It's
Yeah.
still dark. All of my stories are dark, but not like this. I
Okay.
remember when we started writing this, my friend told me, he's like, "All right, if you're gonna write the story, my only suggestion is make it as dark as you can."
Okay.
I was like, "All right."
Yeah, it seems like
Well,
people have gone more towards that. Like I remember, like I'm old, but I remember when comic books were like all uplifting, and then
Yeah,
they got really fucking
yeah,
dark,
yeah.
and they kind of lined up a little bit, but they kept kind of that dark theme.
I personally like the darker aspects in most stories, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
I
not
agree.
everything, but as long as when something is really dark and it could be, I feel like what was that quote? the darker something is, the brighter the light would shine when you
Yeah.
finally see it, right?
Well, it's also closer to real life because you go through some real
Exactly.
dark stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. So imagine just if angels and fucking demons were outside killing people, it would not be funny.
Right, right,
It would not be lighthearted, it would be
right, right.
fucking terrifying. And that's sort of what we're trying to show here. And
Okay. Awesome, man. All right. Well, thank you very much for being on this podcast.
I appreciate the
Let
invite.
me know when you run another Kickstarter campaign, and we'll have you on again.
Yes, sir. I'll definitely let you know, Dan. It was a pleasure to meet you. I appreciate you.